Welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joyful life. I am also the founder of the 3G Effect Mindset, a daily practice to keep you heart-centered in everything you do by practicing 3 important elements. Number 1, having a grateful heart and connecting to your gratitude every single day. When you are connected to your gratitude, you're connected to positive emotions and positive feelings, and therefore drawing those things into your life. When you're connected to positive feelings and positive emotions, you're also bringing more into your life, more positive people, things, and experiences. Don't we all want more of that into our life? So remember to have a grateful heart. What are you grateful for in this moment right now? Connect to that. Element number 2, to be grounded in love and compassion. Number 1, first, to be grounded in love and compassion for yourself, because it all starts with you. Once you find that love and compassion for yourself, then you want to share that love and compassion with others as well. When you do your own self-work, when you're connected to love and compassion, you learn to love yourself. You learn to forgive yourself. You learn to stop rejecting yourself and be present exactly where you are with love and compassion, and grow unshakable, strong roots in the world that nobody can shake because you believe in yourself, because you love yourself, because you set boundaries within yourself. That's why love and compassion is so important. And then learning to share that love and compassion with others, because we all want more love and compassion, but we have to give it to get more of it. That's how it works. Remember, the world is round, and therefore I believe that energy also moves in the round circle. So whatever you put out will come back to you. So if you want more love in the world, you need to put more love and compassion out in the world daily. I do that by sending people heart emojis, by wrapping them with my love, not even words needed, just the energy I send towards people every day. And therefore, when you put that love and compassion in the world, you get to have tenfold of abundant love and compassion in your life, right? So keep connecting to that love and compassion and keep spreading it out if you want lots of that in your own life. I do that every single day. And element number 3, knowing that you are guided by God. God is inside of you. God is beside you. God is all around you. Open your heart and soul to God. Ask God for guidance on this journey. Ask Him to help you. Pray to God. Find time to make God your best friend. Thank Him. Thank God for all the miracles and all the beautiful things in your life, because nobody can do this journey alone. We all need each other, and we need God's presence in our lives to truly rise to our greatest self. God will send messages to you that are just for you to help guide you on your journey, to elevate your life, to help you get to anywhere that you want to go. You just have to have that faith and belief within yourself to attract that. By doing that again, you're also attracting more people, things, and positive experiences in your life. And that's what it's all about, to live in an uplifting way every single day, right? To stay strong, to stay in a place of love and compassion and a guidance. That's how you live your most abundant life. I know, because I've been doing this my whole life. And I manifested incredible things and miracles in my life, like being married to my amazing soulmate for over 27 years. And I know that I created that because of the way I think, because of the energy that I put in the world. I know that energy is coming back to me. And I want that for you too. I want you to live your best life, because you deserve to live in abundance, to live away from fear, away from scarcity, away from a place of confusion and anxiety. You know, we can do that when we have that strong faith in ourselves. When we do that inner work within ourselves, we get to create this beautiful outer world. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. How can we create more of that beautiful inner world within ourselves? So one way to do that is to find time to go within yourself. Today, we're going to be talking about meditation and how meditation helps us calm our mind, body, and soul, right? When we close our eyes, when we connect to our breath, when we become present in this present moment, our whole life starts changing. And that's what it's about. It's about change. It's about creating that ripple effect of change in your life to get to a better place than you are right now and to never give up on you. We are here to learn, to grow, and to become. I'm really excited about my guest today. Her name is Christine Abrams. Christine Abrams is a licensed mental health therapist, both in Florida and in New Jersey. She began practicing TM in 2019, and her mission now is to spread this amazing work to as many people as possible. Christine Abrams, welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast.
Thank you so much, Noah. It's such a gift to be with you. And I so resonated with everything you talked about just now. And I think transcendental meditation fits right into exactly what you're talking about.
100%. I love that so much. So maybe we should start by just explaining to people what TM is. I bet a lot of people have never heard of TM or transcendental meditation, and they want to know a little bit more about it. So maybe we could start sharing with them, like maybe your journey into TM or anything that you could share to get our audience to know more about what we're talking about.
Sure, I would love to do that. So, as TM is transcendental meditation, and it's easy, simple, natural, effortless. It's also very easy to learn. And basically, you sit comfortably 20 minutes twice a day, and you're given a mantra, which is really a sound. And that brings you down, 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 deep down into yourself and you experience this amazing peaceful state. And basically, if you think about an ocean, let's say they're 40-foot waves, right? Any of you who have gone diving know that when you go beneath the waves and you come down, it's peaceful, it's quiet, right? Even though the waves are crashing. So that's a great metaphor for our minds. Our minds have lots of thoughts on the surface, okay? And we call it the gotta mind. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, on and on and on. And we never get a chance to experience the depth of our being. And so when we start to meditate, it takes us down into a peace we just usually don't experience. That's what TM is. What it isn't, and there's some myths going around about it, what it isn't is a belief system. It's not religion, it's not a philosophy, and there's no lifestyle change. What I love about TM is its simplicity. And let me explain what I mean. I've been a seeker my whole life. And I'll get to my story about TM, which is really interesting. I've done contemplative meditation, actually Christian contemplative meditation, where you sit and you take a Bible passage and you think about it, think about it, think about it, nothing happened. And I felt like if my mind wandered, oh my God, I did it wrong. I also took meditation when they said, kill your ego, get the thoughts out of your mind. Have you ever tried getting thoughts out of your mind? It's nearly impossible. Okay. And so, of course, I felt like a failure. Also, sit in lotus position. That was really tough. I did it, but I was struggling. So to me, meditation has always been a struggle. And then when I learned TM, anything goes. They don't tell you to clear the mind. They don't tell you to sit in lotus. You don't have to kill your ego. You don't have to think about anything. You just have your mantra. You think your mantra. When your mind wanders, you go back to your mantra. Simple. You have to go to the bathroom in the middle of it, go. They don't care. Come back, sit, continue. Easy, right? People have a hard time accepting that because it's so simple. And in our culture, simple doesn't fly. It's got to be complicated. We got to really work this hard. No, we're stressed all the time. So this is a way to relax, get peaceful, and get down to what you were talking about, that peace inside.
I love that so much because we all want more peace. And when you gave the description of, the waves and then kind of like how our mind is, right? I always say there's a war going on in our mind, a war. So, being able to go deeper in ourselves, that's where all the magic happens. If we want to have abundance in our life and we want to manifest things, we can't do it from an outer perspective. We have to go within ourselves to start seeing things differently, to start connecting and believe that it's there. And I think TM gives you that quiet time to go within and be in your quiet space, be in your happy space, which is always you. Your happy space is always you. It's just that you don't really know that. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that 100%. We're just not used to it. That's our true nature, right? Peace, quiet, bliss, happiness. The mind always goes to where it's happy, right? Or where it's engaged. And that's how the mantra works. It engages you to bring yourself down, down, quiet, quiet. It's beautiful. And we don't meditate for the sake of meditation. We meditate for the sake of activity. So through TM, your activity becomes more peaceful. You carry that peace with you into the world, and that's why we do it twice a day. So you do it in the morning, you're peaceful. You go into activity, and then by the end of the day, your battery's draining. So you do it again in late afternoon before dinner, and then you're recharged again, and your activity is smoother. And if you do this over time, it's a cumulative effect.
I love that. And why are people so afraid of meditation? It seems like, if you tell people sit still, like if I told Christian right now over here, Christian, you got to sit still for 20 minutes, you got to close your eyes, and you got to just breathe and say this mantra, he'll be like, I can't do it. Why are people so resistant, you think, to taking that time to sit down and to find that connection to themselves?
That's a great question. And I actually have a woman I taught who said to me, I feel so guilty taking this time out of my day because I have so much to do. And I think people generally have a hard time caring for themselves first. It's sort of like, what I tell parents who are always giving, giving, giving to their children, to their spouses, to their jobs. I said, look, take a line from the airlines. If the plane's going down and the oxygen mask falls, put it on yourself first before you do it to your child or your partner or whoever's sitting next to you. That's a great metaphor. We need to care for ourselves first. It's just very hard in this culture. And, 20 minutes out of your day, people go crazy. 20 minutes, I can't. I have so much to do. No, no, you can schedule that in. Take 20 minutes away from social media, take 20 minutes away from TV watching, just take 20 minutes for you to rejuvenate. It's such a beautiful thing. And as soon as someone says, I can't, then they can't, right? You've already decided. I always say, try it, see, give it a month, see how you feel after the month. And I think that's, if you can do anything for a month.
And when you say, take 20 minutes away from this and this, really, you're not really taking anything away. You're watering yourself. You're actually
Yes.
giving yourself a chance to really nurture your life on a whole nother level. So, it's such a positive thing for yourself to take that time for yourself. And whatever you're resisting is probably something that you really need. And I think, it's that unknown for a lot of us because we didn't grow up meditating, right? I mean, my parents didn't teach me to sit down and meditate, right? To sit down and take that time. So I think old habits are really hard to stop. Would you say that's true?
I think it's very true. And it's funny. So I came to TM. It's so interesting because I'm a student of Vedanta, which is really the study of the self. And my teacher was very anti-TM for whatever reason. And I sort of adopted that bias and I thought, oh, this is who wants to do TM? Like there are others, mindfulness, there's this, that, the other thing. And then I read a book by a gentleman called Bill Stixrud, Dr. Bill Stixrud. It's called The Self-Driven Child. And in it, there was a whole chapter about how TM helps kids. And they have data to show that. And I thought, and I was an educator at that time, and I thought, ooh, if this is the case, I should really look into this and get over my biases. And so I did. I signed up for an intro lesson and I thought, all right, I'll give it a whirl. So I take the intro. I liked it. I signed up, got my mantra, and I thought, all right, let's see what this is all about. Because one of the benefits of TM is called support of nature. So when you're really in that deep space, that's really you. You're sort of connected, and things unfold in a very easy way. It's almost like being in the zone. Okay, and so I thought, yeah, the zone, sure, sure. Well, at the time I was an administrator and I was friends with this mom in the district, and she was just driving me crazy about her kindergartner who didn't have the right teacher and the principal won't call her back. And this is a Saturday. And I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord, I wish the principal would walk into this restaurant right now. My husband and I were at a restaurant, and there was no way the principal was going to walk in. This was wishful thinking on my part. Don't you know, he walks right into the restaurant. And I went up to him and said, David, can you please help me with this, Mom? He said, I'll call her right now. Took care of it. And I thought, oh boy, all right, this TM thing, it's got something. And it got me through COVID like nothing else could. Not no stress about COVID. Things unfolded in a really positive way. And it was just, it reduces stress. Like there are what 400 peer-reviewed studies that say it reduces trait anxiety, it reduces stress, it reduces alcohol problems, it reduces insomnia, it reduces depression, it helps with ADHD, it reduces blood pressure. The American Heart Association has said of all the meditations they've studied, TM has these results. So it's got science behind it, and which I really like. And so it's just an amazing practice on so many levels: physical, mental, and spiritual.
I love that so much because we all have so many bias about things, right? Until it's so easy to jump on a bandwagon of bias, right? And not to really see things for yourself and learn for yourself. And you took the time to really see what it is for yourself rather than really buy into the bias long term. And so, as a TM meditator, I want to just take people a little back and go to. Can you explain to people where it started, TMs? Because I wanted to kind of give them a background of who
Oh,
really started
sure.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Maharshi Mahesh Yogi brought it to the United States in the 50s. And the Beatles went to India to study with him. And it became, all the rage. He brought it here. He learned it from a gentleman called Brahmahansa Saraswati in India. And Maharshi brought it here because he really wanted world peace. And that was his goal. That's always been his goal. And so it's an ancient tradition that's been passed down. And again, it's not religious. It's just you get a sound. And the reason why the mantra is a sound and not a word is because, just say if I was teaching you and I said, okay, Noah, your mantra is flower. What are you going to be thinking when you're thinking your mantra? Oh, roses, daisies, carnations. You're on the surface of the mind. That's not what TM is about. The whole point of this mantra is to bring you down, right? It's an anchor that brings you down. And so Maharshi brought it here. He did a lot with it on the West Coast. And then you can see many celebrities do TM, like Seinfeld, Oprah, um, several others. You can, look it up. I think David Lynch. David Lynch has a foundation, and they really try to help people who can't afford it. And now they're doing Heal the Healers, where they're getting uh, hospital personnel to learn. There's a big movement in bringing this to average people as well, because it's so important for mental health, for physical health, for spiritual health. So that's where it comes from. And Maharshi passed in 2008, and now Dr. Tony Nader runs the organization and is bringing it forward into the world.
Yeah, I love that. And so I wanted to also, I'm very grateful that you're my teacher. You're my meditation teacher. And that I recently started doing TM with you, and you taught me and my husband how to do TM, and we've been practicing it. And I really do enjoy what it's also, I mean, my husband and I are very close, but even, like we meditate sometimes holding hands, it's just such a nice connection and a bond. When you do something together, it's a really beautiful thing. And it almost feels like meditation is like self therapy. It's like your own self therapy. Like maybe we could stop therapy if we all just did that meditation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've often said that. I think what's really wonderful about the meditation is um, old habits fall away. So if you happen to have a bad habit that you've been struggling with, I have found that by consistency in my meditation, I'm just not drawn to the habit anymore. And I think that's why it works so well with addictions. It's not a struggle. Nothing's a struggle after a while. But the key is consistency, right? Doing it twice a day, every day, and making that time for yourself. That's so important. But no, the fact that you and your husband are doing it is wonderful, because that energy reverberates, right? And it just makes your family stronger and your community stronger. And, I've been doing a lot of teaching in the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area. And it's great because we have a whole group of people who are meditating regularly, which is lovely.
Yes, and how you say that the meditations build on each other. Can you explain more about that?
Sure. So it's cumulative. So let's say a good metaphor that Maharshi used to talk about was, if you take a cloth and you dye it, put it in yellow dye, and you lay it out in the sun, it fades. But then you re-dye it. You lay it out in the sun, some more color stays over and over until it becomes color fast, which means it's not going to lose any more color. That's the same thing with TM. You dip in, you go out into activity, you lose a little. You dip in, you go back out into activity, a little more stays, on and on and on until you become color fast in a sense where you don't lose that sense of peace and well-being. And it becomes, it is part of you. It's just that we don't recognize it because we're so engaged in the world of activity. But now we can have that peace while we're in that world of activity. And that's really a wonderful place to be because then you're not reacting to your external circumstances. You're responding, right? You're not going to be triggered. You're going to be there and, oh, okay, this is going on. I'll respond this way rather than a knee-jerk reaction because you have that peace inside. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing from you is that by doing TM, you're able to control your emotions more. Would you say that's
Hmm.
true? So you're not
Yes.
reacting to things as much because you're emotionally more grounded in yourself, and therefore you have that because you meditate, you have that pause inside of you so you can actually stop yourself from just automatically reacting to something.
Yeah, and it's not even stopping. It's just that becomes your natural go-to. It's just like, oh, isn't this curious? Well, I'm not going to scream and yell, or act the way I usually do. And things, and this is wonderful if you're a creative person. So if you're in the arts, things come to you more naturally, more easily, without struggle. The whole point of TM is to reduce the struggle and the stress, and to put you in touch with your true nature, which is consciousness. Right? Everything's consciousness. And so that's who you are. And we're not taught that. Like you said, you weren't taught to meditate when you were little. But that's, when you get down to that, that's who you are, that deep, quiet, peaceful being. And that's, I believe, how we're meant to be. We're not meant to be stressed like this or, upset all the time or worried. We're meant to be in a very calm, quiet, peaceful place.
Definitely. And I've spoken to a lot of people over years that have done TM. So it's been on my bucket list for a long time. And the people that have done it, like, for 20, 30 years that I've spoken to, they can't say enough great stuff about it. They literally say it has completely transformed their life. They actually say that without TM, they wouldn't be the people that they are today. That it brought out their creativity, that it brought out their power, that it really changed their life in a much more abundant way. Have you heard a lot of that as well?
I certainly have. And I mean, it's that's what was also I was skeptical about because how could that be? But when I did it, it's just amazing. It's been life-changing for me. And I'm sad that I didn't learn this when I was younger. And I love the fact that kids are learning this, teens are learning this, because I think it's really going to help them get some emotional control, which is, schools are trying to teach social emotional learning to help them regulate their emotions. And I think this really does that. But, like everything else in life, you come to something when you're ready for it. And I got to it in 2019, and I guess I was ready for it. And I'm so grateful. And when I learned it, I immediately said, I must become a TM teacher, bring this to people, bring this to kids. And that's when I started my journey into becoming a TM teacher. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. And I'm so grateful. And I was so grateful to teach you and your husband. You were so willing to learn and took to it so well. And I'm so happy that you're practicing.
So much fun. So let's talk a little bit about something else that it's very dear to my heart. Transcending. Can you
Ah,
explain what that is about? So when you meditate, let's take it over to you.
okay. So the idea is when you meditate, you go down, you leave the realm of thought and you sink, right? Just like in the ocean, and it's quiet and peaceful. And you transcend thought. So you're aware, but you're quiet. Right? And then often what happens in meditation, thoughts come in, and then you're like, oh, and the thoughts bring you back to the surface. And they say, oh, got to get back to my mantra. And you quietly go back to your mantra and transcend again. Sometimes meditation might be all thoughts, right? You may be so keyed up that the thoughts keep coming. It's okay. As I said, we don't meditate for the sake of meditating. right? We meditate for the sake of activity, and every meditation is a good meditation. We don't evaluate. And so that's that peacefulness. It's such a stress reliever because when you sleep when you sleep at night, that gets rid of your daily stress. The TM really gets rid of deep-seated stress, and it just, it flows out. It's a beautiful thing. And the sense of transcending, it's so peaceful to be aware of that quietness. When you're in deep sleep, you're not aware of it. Okay. But when you're transcending, you are aware of being in a quiet place with no thought. And that's really what it is. And I imagine you've experienced that.
Yeah, so when you transcend, you're in a place of no thoughts, right? And no
Mhm.
mantra. You're just in a you also all of a sudden like the mantra kind of stops and your thoughts kind of stop and you're just like in this other kind of like higher energy. That's what it feels to me. Like all of a sudden all the energy comes to my forehead. I feel this like lift from my forehead. I'm sure everybody experiences it differently, but it's really cool when you transcend, and it's not like a long, long period of time, but it's just
Mhm.
this like real peaceful, deep place, like the deepest place you could be, um, from what I experienced. What do you think about that?
I think that's everybody does have a different experience, but I think you hit the nail on the head. No mantra, no thought. That's
Mm.
it. You're there. It's quiet. And that, we so rarely get that in our lives. And that's what's so important, that deep, deep relaxation. And if you fall asleep during TM, again, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You wake up, you finish your meditation. So and again, it's so simple and so easy that I think people have a hard time with it because they're always, looking for something. I'm not making progress unless I really work hard at this. That's not the case with TM. Don't work hard. You don't have to concentrate. It just comes. The mantra comes, and it goes, and it comes, and you realize when it's not there. You easily come back to it. You don't do mantra, mantra, mantra. No forcing. That's what's so beautiful about it. And if you can really, get that, you're going to have a wonderful experience.
Yes, absolutely. So, why do they say you should meditate twice a day for 20 minutes? Why is the 20 minutes twice a day so important for your practice?
Well, 20 minutes seems to be the optimal time. Again, if you're running short, 15 minutes is fine, but 20 minutes is ideal. Also, why? Because, again, you start your day with meditation, it sets the stage. You go into activity. By the time the day is ending, you're a little worn out there. And so you meditate again and it rejuvenates you so you can finish the rest of the evening and whatever you have to do that night. And so that's why it's important to do it twice a day. Now, Jerry Seinfeld has a whole talk about how he was meditating once a day for years, and then he started doing it twice a day. And he's like, oh my God, it would have been so much better if I had done this twice a day. But it is more effective twice a day, and 20 minutes is optimal.
That's really great. So, do you teach a lot of kids how to meditate?
I have not taught kids yet. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm actually trying to work with a couple of school districts to actually first start with staff and administrators because the teacher burnout level is insane right now. And, because of coming out of COVID, there's a lot of stresses. I don't know if you've ever taught, but I was a teacher. It was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my life. It's not easy. You're managing all these personalities. You have to prepare lessons. It's a lot of pressure. And so I'm hoping that I can teach it to administrators and teachers and then bring parents and their children in to learn together because that would be just so beautiful for the parents and the children to learn, of course, voluntarily. And that's what that's my goal really to do that. So I'm in talks with some districts right now to make that a possibility.
I love that. Do you think if more people practiced TM meditation, we'd have a lot more peaceful world?
I do, and that's what Maharshi set out to do. He said, yeah, if he wanted everyone to learn so that we would have more peace. Because remember, if you're peaceful inside, you're going to radiate peace outside, right? Because a lot of conflict comes from within us. As you pointed out, we're always fighting in our minds, and we need that peace. And this December, the TM organization is having the 10,000 course where there are going to be 10,000 people in India meditating and doing the advanced TM City program to bring world peace. They had done that in 1993 in Washington, D.C. with terrific results. And that's hopefully they're going to be doing that from end of December into January. And, I'm hoping something will come out of that to sort of tone down all of the turmoil in the world right now.
And there's a lot of turmoil right now. There's so many stuff going on, literal wars going on in the world, besides the wars that are going on within ourselves, right? So it's all about like, how can we take more control of it? Because we're being pulled away from ourselves every single moment. So how can we come back to our center? And I feel like TM is a great way to do it. So somebody who's totally new to TM, and we've been talking about it a little bit, getting more of an idea. What process do they go through to get
Mhm.
started with a TM meditation practice?
That's a great question. So the first thing to do is find a local center near you. So basically go online to tm.org and it'll say, local center, and you click on it, you fill out some information and your center will contact you. And it's a 4-day commitment. So the first day, that you will have an interview by the teacher to get some information, and then you'll have your personal instruction. That's always done in person. That's where you'll learn how to you'll get the mantra and how to learn to use the mantra. And then they have 3 follow-up days called 3 days of checking. It's a course, really. What you're signing up for is a course, and each day you'll learn a different aspect of TM, how doing it correctly, what thoughts mean, and different levels of consciousness. And it's really a wonderful practice. If you go to the center for those 3 days, then you'll meet other people, you'll talk about it. For those of us who are pressed for time, the other option is personal instruction and then 3 days of checking on the TM app, which is wonderful. And Noah, you went through the app, so you can just talk, what your experience was on the app, but that's also an option. And then there's the hybrid. Some people can come for a day or two of checking in person, but then, oh my gosh, circumstances have happened. They can't make the third day, so they can transition to the app. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you learn. And then many centers have follow-up group meditation, sometimes yoga, asanas, potluck dinners. It depends on where you are and which center you go to. But Noah, why don't you talk just briefly about your experience with the app?
Well, I found the whole experience very supportive, right? Because you have the app, you have the access to the teacher, which is you. So I feel like that follow up, right? Like you would check in with us, you would be like, "Are you meditating?" And then every time you would check in with us, we would do a 10-minute meditation together,
Mhm.
and you would check to make sure that we didn't forget our mantra because it's easy to forget the mantra because it's like a foreign language. It's something that it's a new word that you haven't really said before, in Sanskrit, right? And so,
It's just a sound. It's not even Sanskrit.
yeah, no, it's
It's
not.
just a
Okay.
sound.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a sound, and I know that one of the things we didn't talk about, but you don't share your mantra with anybody. It's just your
No.
mantra. So I can't tell my husband my mantra. He can't tell
Mm-mm.
me his mantra.
Mm-mm.
It's a secret thing. And you take that time to go within yourself with the support of a teacher. And so it's been a really, really amazing experience. I think the hardest thing is once you're done with it is just to be really consistent, like you said, because how it builds on, builds on, builds on. And I do feel like when I skip like a morning or something, I do feel like it's a little harder for me to go within. When I'm more consistent, I drop in much faster. That's been my experience.
Yeah.
And what I do really love the fact that there's support from all over the world. There's on the app you can meditate with people from all over the world. There's also a part where you can do yoga, a little bit of asana, and then meditate. And there's different people leading those kinds of things. So it's a very supportive community. And Christine, I don't know how many people meditate all over the world. Do you have that number?
I don't offhand, but I know when you're meditating on the app, it tells you how many people are using the app. Doesn't necessarily mean everybody, that's the total sum of everybody meditating, but there are quite a number of people. Because remember, people have been doing this since I don't know, the 50s, the 60s. And it grew a lot in the 70s. And so you have people meditating constantly, and it's just a beautiful practice. And just getting back to the mantra, it's secret for a reason because it's personal to us and it grows in us and it's ours. And it's just like you don't want to share it because to me, I think of it's like medication. You're not going to share your medication. It's private to you. And so it's important, right? Because that's your personal sound and it brings you down to a place that's very precious. But yeah, I don't know what the actual number is for the meditators. I know there are quite a few meditators. And what's great about going to the center or meditating on the app when, with group meditation is that you're all together. And Bob Roth, who runs the David Lynch Foundation, has a morning meditation, global meditation, and an evening global meditation that meditators can join. And it's beautiful because you could be on there with thousands of people, and it's you're just contributing to the world, contributing to your peace, the world's peace. It's really quite beautiful.
Yeah, I love all the support. I think that's really, really important to keep you on track. And like I said, all the testimonies that I've gotten from people that I know personally that just speak so highly of this work and they've done it for so long that I myself, I would say after doing TM now for a couple of months, I would highly recommend meditation practice, and there's all kinds of meditation practices. But TM is nice because it's so focused. I feel like it's so focused. And like you said, like if thoughts come in your head, they don't make anything bad and wrong. Like however you are is fine. If you need to open your eyes and look at the time, because they actually give you on the app, there's a thing where you set the times for 20 minutes. And if you need to look at the time, you're like, oh, this is taking so long. You can look down at your time at your phone to see how long it's been and then close your eyes again if you need more, if it's longer. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's just, they make it very, very easy and simple for you. And that's what I really love so much. And actually, my husband and I did a meditation this morning and we're like, wow, it went by so fast, We couldn't believe how fast the time went. So, no, I love it. I think that it's adding a missing piece to my life, to be able to take to my life and my journey and everything that I'm doing to a whole new level. And I highly recommend TM or any kind of meditation practice. But since I'm doing TM, I would say it's really amazing. And I told you, Christine, today that one of my best friends, I had no idea. She's been doing this for 20 years. And she said it's been amazing in her life. So
It is amazing. And the thing is too, once you learn TM, your teacher is your teacher for life. Anytime you need to contact them, you can. You can ask them for personal checking, say, oh, I feel it's not working. Okay, come on in. We'll go over it together and they'll sort of reboot you. It's so yes, the support is there for a lifetime. And the longer you do it, it's the more glorious it is. And as I said, I've done it all. And I've landed on TM and it really is quite amazing. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel bad if I don't do it right. It's just, as you say, there's support around it. It's simple. It's great. And I'm so glad that you and your husband learned. So glad.
And it's so bonding. It's so bonding, which is really, really great. Anything that bonds me more with my husband and gives me more time to spend that connection with him, I'm all in 100%. So let's talk a little bit more, Christine. I know we talked about it a little bit, but a little bit more just to leave the viewers with the benefits of TM, some of the benefits that they will get by doing the TM meditation. You were talking
Mhm.
about the flow, right? Let's talk a little bit about more the flow, of how it helped you have more flow in your life, and does it help your creativity flow more as well for you?
Yeah, it does. Things come to me, they come to me in activity, and yeah, you're in the flow. It's just like the only way I can here, I'll give you a concrete example. My husband and I decided to pack up and move to Florida during COVID from New Jersey. My 94-year mother-in-law lives with us. So we have her, the dog, my husband, myself, a trailer we're pulling with all our goods. And we had a house already in Florida that we had for years that we would vacation in. On our way down, we get a call from a friend. Your house flooded, not from any weather, a pipe burst, our fault. Your house flooded and you can't live there. So we're thinking, oh my God. Now my husband's in a panic. He doesn't meditate. He's like, what are we going to do? I said, okay, let's call the hotel, in Cape Coral and see if they have any rooms. I mean, what are we going to do? So he calls and he says, he's explaining to the woman, I need 2 rooms, on and on and on. She says, look, I'll do one better for you. For $200 more, I'll give you the entire top floor, this suite. You have 2 bedrooms, a den, full kitchen, wrap around, on and on. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. And she said, you can stay 2 weeks. You have to be out Labor Day. And we're thinking, great. So we get there. This was effortless. Like we just pulled in, done. Well, 2 weeks is coming up. What do we do now? We have no place to stay. So I said, honey, our neighbors are German. They can't come because of COVID. Are they renting? Let's find out. So he calls the neighbors in Germany, and the guy goes, oh my God, I haven't been able to find a renter. It would be great if you could rent the house until the work on your house is done. Bingo, move into there, rent it, which means my husband can supervise the work in our house. Now, we had both talked about prior to this how we really wanted our house to be refurbished before we sold it. And the everything got done. New carpeting, new molding, new kitchen. Now we have to sell it. So we put a sign up in the front yard. Within 2 days, a couple bought it from Colorado. So easy. Sold by owner, so easy. Then we need a house now. They can't close till January. It's now what, September, October. We find a brand new house, easily done. And at that time, it was really hard to find a house because everybody happened to be moving down during COVID and buying up all the properties. We found this house, put an offer in, got it, bam, moved in Thanksgiving, closed on the sale of our. It was effortless, no stress. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's still, I'm stunned by the whole thing. My mother-in-law is happy. She's healthy. I taught her to meditate at 94. She does it twice a day. And she says, dear, I feel so relaxed. I have no stress. I love it. So it's just, that's the kind of stuff that can happen if you're regular in your meditation, just the flow. Things flow like that, and you just, I don't know. It just, that's how it works. And I mean, I think part of it is because you're not stressed, you're not worried, and things unfold in the way they're supposed to unfold because you're connected to that peace inside. And so you're radiating that as well. And people gravitate toward that. Does all that make sense?
It totally makes sense. I absolutely so happy you shared that story because that really gives the people perspective. And who doesn't want to be in the flow, right? And it seems like, we fight and resist things so much because of our own, limited beliefs, because we either believe we can or we can't. And we make everything into like this big problem in our head, even though it's simple. And like a year from now, a month from now, you're not even going to remember what happened, but you're just making it into this huge thing. It's causing you anxiety and fear and anger and stress. And here with TM, you're just letting that go. You're more connected to yourself.
Yes.
You're finding that time not to let the outside world get the best of you, right? And therefore, you bring the best of you to life every day. Isn't that what we all want more of?
Yes. And going back to what you were saying about God, like there's a Bible passage. I don't remember it clearly. Maybe you can help with that. But it's something like, how can you doubt when God feeds the birds and, the creatures? Why wouldn't he take care of you too? Like it shouldn't be that hard. And so that's sort of what it feels like to me, you know, that I'm being taken care of. And it's because I'm connected to me, which is really wonderful.
I love that. And you're creating miracles everywhere. And that's what's so cool. You're just creating miracles because you're supposed to create miracles. We're here to create miracles. We're not here to be in suffering and pain. We are here to be in our creative mode, in our flow mode, in our less resistant mode. But the outside world will never give you that. So go
Right.
inside yourself. I think it's such a beautiful practice, such a beautiful thing. Christine here can teach you more about TM. And literally, when she gave me my mantra, she had me walk over to a chair, sit down. I wasn't even cross-legged or anything. And I'm like, I'm not cross-legged. I'm like, I'm not, I'm sitting crooked. This is wrong. I was making it like wrong. And is this my mantra? Is this what it is right now? Like I tried to question and all that. But man, when we stop and we just let it go and let it flow, life is really transformed in such a way that we could have never imagined before. And that's what I love about taking our power back. And I feel like TM is taking our power back.
I agree 100%. It's empowering and it just yeah, that's right. You're taking your power back. You're living in that power and you don't have to fight it because we're always fighting. We're always fighting. Our minds are projecting, as you said, and oh, what's going to happen? TM just for me, it takes the worry out of life. I don't worry. I do right action. That's all I can say. And it comes naturally.
Take the worry out of life. Think about it, you guys. Take the worry out of life. Don't we all want that? That sounds amazing. Oh my God. Well, I'm so grateful that we had this time together, Christine. So, how can
Me
people
too.
find you and connect with you if they want to work with you and they're in the South Florida area?
Yeah, so I'm in the Fort Myers area, and I you can email me at christineabrams219 at gmail.com. And you certainly, if you're in the area, I'd love to teach you. And if you cannot stay in the area, we can do everything remotely after your instruction. If you're not near me and want to learn, just go on to tm.org and you can find a center near you, which is really good because if you live in that area, then you can participate in whatever activities the center's having.
That's awesome. So make sure you connect with Christine. Christine, I want to thank you so much for this time together. I really enjoyed our conversation. The stuff really lights me up, excites me, and I love it. I love to talk about anything that has to do with growing, transforming, becoming, changing, flowing. That's all what I'm about. I'm about that ease to bring more ease and abundance into our lives. So thank you so much for being such an amazing guest today.
Thank you, Noah. This was such a privilege. It's a privilege to know you, and I just love the work you're doing. So keep it going because you're creating miracles as well. Mwah. Love you lots.
Love you too. All right. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today. It's really been such an eye opening to speak about meditation and to start seeing how we create everything. So when we change things in our lives, we can create something totally different. So I hope you really tap into TM meditation and connect with Christine or a center near you because it is so life changing. And I can tell you from my own personal experience. Until next time, remember to have a grateful heart, to ground in love and compassion, and know that you are being every day guided by God. What miracles will you experience this week? Till next time, my friends, have a beautiful week. Namaste.